Since I graduated from St. Mary's Cathedral, I volunteered to be the liaison for this basketball team. And I've read about them, and I knew about them winning state championship, which is the only one in school history. But I got to know these guys, and I could tell by talking to them how much they thoroughly appreciate what our Hall of Fame is doing. Each of them shared stories about what it was like back then in 1953. And what got me is their vivid memory of what happened the night before. You know, Sam Franz took them to a seafood restaurant. They knew exactly which seafood restaurant. They knew they stayed at the Olds Hotel in East Lansing. They knew every facet. The next day, they went to Mass at Lansing St. Mary's. They remembered every single little detail. And I asked them, I come out and asked them, I says, you guys, I said, this happened a long time ago. You know, those guys are in their 80s. And they said, Jack, this is one of the most important things that ever happened to us in our life athletically. And we did it with our buddies. We did it with our friends. It doesn't get any better than that.
Saginaw St. Mary's Cathedral High School boys varsity basketball team turned in the school's only state championship when they captured the Class C state title during the 1952-53 season.
That team was tremendous. Just they played together for at least 3 years, maybe 4. And they were, they knew where everybody was. They knew what to do.
The Maroons, coached by Leo Sam Franz, defeated Muskegon St. Mary's 59-57 in front of 9,600 fans at Michigan State's Jennison Fieldhouse.
The fans were tremendous. They followed us all the way.
St. Mary's finished its regular season with a 12-4 record, losing 2 games each to city rivals St. Andrews and St. Peter and Paul.
I think another factor was Father Mahar. And then he'd scrimmage with us. And he was the best two-handed shooter I ever saw. He was a baseball coach for St. Mary's, and he had 8 major league offers, to play baseball. And then he chose another way.
To see that those guys play, and play as well as they did, without a 6-footer, was something to see.
The gyms we played in were kind of interesting. St. Stan's was probably the most interesting. And that was that their basket was nailed to their stage. Little kids would get up there and shake the basket. It was like trying to shoot at a moving target. People should have known that once we got on big floors, that we could be dangerous. And we played the districts and we played the regionals all at Arthur Hill. And I think that was a big advantage to us. Travel, for one thing, but the big floor, with our speed, it made a difference. And the jump shots that the kids shot. 4 players on the team developed a jump shot, which was just coming into vogue.
We had 11 guys on the varsity. And when we went into the tournament, Sam brought up one kid. Rudy Gonzalez came up and made it 12.
Rudy Gonzalez, as an example, lived in the orphanage. And he would come every morning from the orphanage and then go back.
Before that, I was 11th man. And when Rudy came up, I was 12.
The East Side Cagers, a high-scoring team for its era, quickly went to work in district play at Arthur Hill High School with a 71-48 victory over Michigan Lutheran Seminary. St. Mary's then met up with St. Pete's in the 3rd clash of the season between the two. The Maroons upended the Midgets 59-43 to capture the district title, as St. Mary's held St. Peter and Paul to 17 of 73 shooting in the contest. In regional play, also held at Arthur Hill High School, the Maroons topped Clarkston 55-48 in its opening game. Then they ran past Flint Utley 70-56 in the regional semifinal, before scoring 21 fourth-quarter points to propel them to a 72-59 win over Flint Sacred Heart in the regional title game. St. Mary's then ventured to Flint's IMA Auditorium, for its quarterfinal clash versus Grosse Pointe St. Paul's. The Maroons halted St. Paul's 18-game winning streak with a 70-44 thrashing.
I mean, like when we played in the quarterfinals at the IMA in Flint. In the second quarter, we blew out Grosse Pointe St. Paul's because we would, before they could get set up, we had already scored. They had their backs running and we were dribbling right between them. They couldn't keep, and they were a good team down in Detroit.
The Cathedral team then went up against Hartford in the semifinal game at Lansing's Boys Vocational School and came away with a thrilling 65-62 overtime victory. In the state championship game against number 1 ranked Muskegon St. Mary's, the 5 Maroon starters, seniors Denny Troster, Dave Woodcock, Rob Rupert, Herbert Lynch, and Bob McDonald played the entire game, and 4 of the 5 scored in double figures.
But when we got to the tournaments, we just ran people off the floor. And in the final game, only 11 people played in that game. 6 for Muskegon and 5 for us.
Other team members included Lloyd Pete Bishop, Tom Story, Terry McInerney, Tom Heiser, Jim Lefevre, and John Nicodemus. And team managers included Larry Hendrick and Tom Weddock. Sam Franz was inducted into the Saginaw County Sports Hall of Fame in 2004.
And Sam was just tough.
Coach Franz was he was a good man.
He was a great influence on my life because then I went on to coach for a long time.
And internally, it changed me all around, started me on the right road.
He was a good man to be there.
He got more out of me than I had to give.